Hey everyone, welcome back to another video review. In today's review, we're going to have a look at the CM Storm Quickfire TK mechanical gaming keyboard.
Alright, so this is the Quickfire TK. Now this keyboard is a neat little keyboard, very practical for LAN parties. You can easily carry it around. It's not really heavy, or not too heavy. It's heavy but not too heavy. So great for LAN parties, or if you're going somewhere, perhaps if you want to combine this with a laptop, a gaming laptop for example, really good. This is actually the smaller, or the little brother of the Quickfire Pro, which I reviewed a couple weeks back. But this Quickfire TK actually offers a few things that the Quickfire Pro should have offered as well, which it didn't. So this already, in my eyes, from the start seemed much better than the Quickfire Pro, and it gets better than just the first things that you see, and I'm of course going to cover all of that. Now, a few things I should note now in the start of the review. First of all, you have an ASRT layout here, as you can see. So if you're from Belgium and France, most people from Belgium and France use the ASRT, or at least many people use the ASRT layout. This keyboard is actually not on the market, or not going to be on the market with the ASRT layout. Coolmaster sent me this sample. This is actually a beta sample, so not really one that's going to be on the market, some kind of more of a prototype. But they're not putting this on the market because of a few reasons. So yeah, you're not going to find that with ASRT. Just saying that because you might get confused if you don't find it. So it's only QWERTY and that layout. Anyway, next to that, I should also note that this keyboard is available with other mechanical keys. Now here you have the red keys, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. This one has the red mechanical keys, but it's also available with the brown and blue Cherry MX switches, and yeah, those also have other LEDs colors, because now you have red switches and you have red LED backlit, or red LEDs all over the keyboard. Now with the blue, with the blue switches you'll have blue LEDs, quite obviously, and with the brown switches you don't have brown LEDs, because that would just be ugly. No, you get white LEDs with that. And also note, there's the all the red in between the keys. That's the steel plate in the back. That's also blue with the blue switches and brown with the brown switches. So that also goes together. Okay, now I'm just going to go over a couple of the features that this has. First of all, you have the fact that this is fully backlit. I really like that. Quickfire Pro hadn't fully backlit keys. These are really like that, so that's a plus. And also, just like with the Quickfire Pro, you can just turn off the lights, and if you do that, note that you still have the FN button here going, which you'll have to press for 3 seconds now to turn it off or on, which is also different from the Quickfire Pro. There you just have to press it once. This is kind of a protection system. So yeah, that still works. So that can go on and off. Then you still have Leather Brighter, of course, and you have different modes. You have the breathing mode. Let me just show you guys that. So you have the breathing mode, this mode, and here you put numlock off. So this is actually numlock off. Then also the arrow keys here will lit up for those who use arrow keys in first-person shooters. Now the numlock LED doesn't work here, and that's probably because it's just a beta sample and they had perhaps something wrong here, but don't mind that. Normally if the numlock is on, these won't lit up even with the complete backlit thing. So if numlock is on, normally this LED here should work, and then these arrow keys are not lit. So if numlock's off, these are lit. Alright, so those are the modes actually. You have the breathing mode, that mode, and fully backlit mode. Talking about the LEDs here, also compared to the Quickfire Pro, those were like kind of, actually I'll show you guys, I have it right here. White plastic covering the LEDs, and the LEDs weren't actually quite visible all the time. Right here you have nice black caps over the LEDs, and looks quite nice when they're on. You can actually see that the LEDs here are on, so that's also a lot of detailing that has been done on this keyboard compared to the Quickfire Pro. That's much nicer. What else? Well, of course, you get the media keys here. You got play, pause, stop, forward, backward, mute, volume, volume up, volume down, and here you also have again the Windows key. So if you're in a game you're playing, say Battlefield 3 or whatever, and accidentally you press the Windows key, well, if this button's on, if it's lit up, means that if you press it, nothing will happen. You won't go out of the game. You won't have the issue that suddenly your start menu opens. So that's very useful to have on. I really like that button. Alright, so another function is the full NKRO function. What this is basically that you can almost quite literally press all the buttons on the keyboard at the same time. So this is very useful for strategy games or any games where you just have to make combos and where you press so many buttons that at a certain point you get limited because you can't press so many buttons at the same time. So really this means that you can press any button, all buttons at the same time, so you can have kind of unlimited amount of combos. And the good thing is that you can actually turn it on and off, so that's kind of an option. So first of all, if you want to turn it on, you press N button and escape at the same time. You press them together. Then you have the full NKRO function. Now if you want to go back to the standard function, which is just 6 NKRO, that means that you just can press 6 buttons at the same time, that the 6 buttons get registered at the same time. Well, then you just go to 6 here, press escape again together, and that will go back. So that's what you should know about that. Also note that this only works on Windows computers. Alright, and as I said, this has the Cherry MX Red mechanical keys, and they include this tool here to actually take off the keys. So basically, if you just do this, pull, then you can have the keys come off like that. And this is actually useful for, I'm going to turn this off here, this is quite annoying. So basically this is quite useful if you want to clean out the keyboard. You can take out the keys, clean it all out, and yeah, that's actually very practical. Also you can see the switch here. So yeah. Now another thing that I stumbled upon with the Quickfire Pro was that the angle wasn't always that good here, because the keyboard was quite high, and at a certain point it actually got quite uncomfortable, and I was kind of afraid that I would have the same issue with this keyboard here, but I noticed, and I compared it with the Quickfire Pro, that the Quickfire TK here actually has a little bit of a better angle, and while gaming I really noticed it. It was a lot more comfortable, a lot easier to use in that perspective, and yeah, a lot more user friendly. So I might just put the Quickfire Pro here if I can. It's got cables around it actually though. Anyway, the angle here is a lot thicker, and this one here is a lot smoother angle, and actually, well, yeah, this is much better in that perspective. So another plus for the Quickfire TK. Alright, now there's also the bottom, of course, of the keyboard, which you should have a look at, because there's a few nice things here to see. First of all, you have the feet, which are rubber feet. You have 4 rubber feet, excluding these clips here. So 4 rubber feet. Then you have these clips, which come out quite easily, as you can hear and see. These also have rubber feet, and these really help keeping grip on your desk. So if the keyboard's on your desk like it should, not like this, it really doesn't slide around your around your desk. So really, the rubbers here are quite good, and I mostly use it with the clips up. Then there is the cable, which is a 1.8 meter USB 2 cable with gold-plated USB 2 connectors, which you have to connect here. Quite easy to do. And then you have cable management grooves here and one here, just to make sure that perhaps if you want to have the keyboard, you know, in the correct position, first of all, and you just want to have cable coming out here, you could do that, or if you want to have the cable coming out here, you could do that as well. Alright, now this is the other side of the keyboard. I just wanted to show you guys this as well. As you can see, there is a CM Storm logo here, just a little bit of design. there's not really that much design been done here, although a little bit of design that has been done has been really subtle and really nice. So CMStorm logo here, a little bit of edges, all that kind of stuff, you know. Also here, a little bit of typical gaming slash industrial kind of design. So yeah, not really that you should expect much from that design wise, but they have designed it that way that it's quite comfortable to game with, which is the most important thing in my opinion. Now before I get to the overall conclusion, I still want to have a few things that pointed out. So these are the arrow keys, as I mentioned earlier, for those who want to play with arrows. I mean, you know, not with arrows, but the arrow keys here in games for first-person shooters, for example. Now we have, like, normally these buttons here, the 0, it's actually one big button. Now they had to split it up, and they decided, I think, to just give the second button an extra function. This is actually just small detail. So they have this button here, just 1 0, 1 0. This one here has 2 0. So really, if you're just typing and you want to say like 125.00, you just press this button and it gives you a double 0. So that's quite interesting, quite neat feature right there. Also, I think, I'm not sure if it's the same design team that made the Quickfire Pro, if it's the same team that made the Quickfire Pro that made this keyboard, because there's a few differences that really just show up, and that's like the Windows key here, which on the Quickfire Pro was the CMStorm logo, which actually looked quite a lot cooler, but yeah, I don't know, for some reason they just used the Windows logo key here, but whatever. Let's get to the overall conclusion. Let me tell you guys what is good and bad about this keyboard. Now this is a very good keyboard. Is there anything bad I have to say about this keyboard? Well, actually not really. There isn't really much bad to say about it. Not at all. I'm really fond of this keyboard. Now perhaps if really I have to say something negative about it, well, my personal opinion would be, for example, and then that would go for the Quickfire Pro as well, but these are really small or minor issues for me personally. That is, for example, that media keys are on the F buttons, and you have to press an FN button to use these keys. I personally like to have you know, extra keys, just have a set of keys here, and you know, have different keys so I don't have to always press FN. Makes it easier in use perhaps. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, that's something you have to decide for yourself. Is there anything else I dislike? No, not really. The only thing I have to point out, though, that this keyboard is like around, I think, 95 euros. So you have to consider that this is a keyboard for gaming enthusiasts, people who actually game a lot or often. If you don't really game often, if you just play games like once a week, or really if you're not into gaming that much, or if you're not like really looking for very special gaming gear, you shouldn't buy this, because of course this is a lot of money for a keyboard. Of course this is expensive because of the fact that it's mechanical and all that. It's all backlit, but yeah, this is actually for certainly not entry level. This is really for enthusiasts, gaming enthusiasts, people who know what they're doing, people who just not really just people who know what they're doing, but actually everyone who is games a lot and wants some decent gear. This is really good. It might have a high price, but it's really good. It's really worth it if you have money to buy it, and if you use it a lot and often for games, you're really gonna enjoy it. And this keyboard gets the Brilliant Award, really just because of that, because I really like it, because it's really good. You really don't find any negative things about it. It's small, it doesn't have the arrow keys in the middle, but that's because it's a LAN party keyboard as well. You can carry it around really easily. It has a lot of options. You know, the backlit option is really nice. You can turn it off if you're watching movies, for example. The Windows key, really everything is very good. Also, the feel when you're gaming is really nice. You don't really accidentally press any buttons. It's very comfortable too, compared to the Quickfire Pro, where the angle of the keys were just a little bit different from this one, and this one here has a better angle, just slightly different, and it makes it a lot better. But as I said, a brilliant keyboard, and really you should consider buying this if you're a gaming enthusiast. So that was the video review. I hope you enjoyed it and have the information you need. And if you want to buy this, then just buy this. Yeah, thanks to Cool Master for sponsoring us, and I'll see you guys in the next video.